Oh man, here we are. Here we are. Peace and love, as I usually say. I definitely want to invite you all to have a great show today for the podcast, the Mental Wealth Podcast, and this is where we normalize therapy. We discuss mindfulness, mental wellness. We talk about um, we have educated, culturally grounded conversations about just any and all things that you can holistically do to make yourself just a well-rounded person, whether you're trying to heal, grow, learn, progress, process, evolve, digest, all of those big words, all of those big things. But today, I'm gonna keep it real with y'all. I got somebody that's been a friend of mine for 10 years. Did you know it's been like 10 years? Did you know it's been like 10 years?
I did.
I thought about that today. I said, yo, you know, me and Juhanna have been friends for 10 plus years. That's, to me, that's like one of my day ones. Like me and you've been friends for so long. First of all, where did we first meet?
We met on the south side of Syracuse.
Yep.
I was working in the FACES office
Mm-hmm.
doing
What were you doing?
health, sexual education work.
Uh-huh.
And you were working with the men's program,
Yep.
young men's program,
Mm-hmm.
down the hall, on the opposite end of the hall.
Journey to manhood.
Journey to manhood.
Mm-hmm.
It was like at this community center on the south side that many people was like, stay out of, don't go there. And I found the spirit of my work in that building.
Mm-hmm.
And you were down the hall and we say, what's up? When my son would come to work with me, I'd be like, hey, can he come into your program?
Yep.
And we were just leading, trying to figure it out in the middle of the belly of the beast. I feel like
that is correct.
That's an accurate description.
First and foremost, before we get into more of the conversation, shout out to Soulwork Studio, Akila, just for
this is a beautiful space.
Letting us be in her space today,
beautiful.
And just having a great time and just being able to provide a space for just young, hungry entrepreneurs, creatives, people who want to do amazing things. We truly appreciate it. And as her work says, live, embody, and transform. So that's just a shout out to you and yours. And
shout out to Soulworks. This is a beautiful space. And I'm coming back.
You should.
I'm coming back for yoga classes and dance classes.
As you should.
Because this is going to be my movement home in Brooklyn.
You should. I just want to let y'all know we're live in Brooklyn right now.
Live in Brooklyn. I'm so excited. Thank you.
We're staring outside, no problem, on Saratoga Ave. And I'm not even going to pronounce the other half.
McDougal, I think.
No, McDonough.
McDonough.
I might have got that incorrect.
Man, they're going to be like, she's not from Brooklyn.
Yeah, they both going to, everybody going to say that. But listen, we come with love. It's all right. Love.
We love Brooklyn.
We love Brooklyn.
We here.
Yes, sir. So my first, all right, so we met at that time.
Yep.
I used to walk into your office. First of all, can we talk about any and all things, or is it some things we just?
I think so.
Okay, because
I think so.
We met at that time.
Yep.
You were in the office. I used to see you all the time, just sitting at your desk, working, taking care of things. So I used to go holler at you, like talk it up, chop it up with you. But do you remember the time you brought me into there and you was like, Halston, we're doing. What do you think of this? And you were talking about bringing R&B guests. You were talking about just having like a mixer, kind of like a very dope kind of brunch feel with live band, live audiences. And it was what, CNY Roots?
Yeah.
And like you and another young lady, y'all I don't know the behind the scene logistics. I only know what the facts of what I saw. Y'all made that happen.
Yeah.
Y'all made that happen. Like, Can I tell you how much fun I had at those things?
Oh my God. It was such a good time. And I think it's for folks that are listening that are in the New York City area may not be able to put it together, but we in Syracuse, there's still no brunch locations really, with the vibe, with the music, with the food, with the bar. And so we created that space for a couple of years in Syracuse when they thought, and they still think, but young brown professionals, Black and brown professionals, maybe they don't exist, or they don't necessarily understand that there's a wave there.
Yeah.
that's pretty powerful. And so we filled that ballroom with over 200. They were like, where did these people come from?
Yep.
And we had champagne pouring. It was a moment that is still talked about, I think, to this day. And so yes, I definitely remember it. And I'm like, man, I should do that again.
Man, I'm talking about powerful people was there. I mean, like the mayor came out. Yep. The new mayor came out. Shout out to Sharon Owens, Syracuse first Black mayor, first Black deputy female mayor. Just doing so many incredible things. But everyone, like when I was there, I'm like, yo, this is amazing. Just the food, the catering, the vendors that was set up. I got a chance to perform, right? I was able to rap. I remember Sharon came up. She was like, "That's the type of talent we have in the at the Southwest Community Center, things like that." So it was dope. It was like such a great space to be a part of. It was like, and I take that energy with me to this day. Everywhere I go, I'm like, where do y'all have y'all brunches and y'all vibes at? What are y'all doing? Happening?
Where the politicians, the people, everything come together. That's real. That's real.
And I'm not saying they don't have it here, because I'm sure they do. It's a big city. It's just, I'm like, fill me in, get me there. Let me, as the young people say, take me through there. You know, like,
take me through there.
Yeah, like let's network, let's get it popping. So that's where I'm at.
Right.
So let's move forward real quick. So right now, shout out to Sharon and her accomplishments, her achievements. You have a position right now. What is that?
So I am serving and have served on the Mayor Sharon Owens, her transition team.
Okay.
And in the spirit of what we just talked about, right? Like, how do you create those places? How do you foster those spaces? I'm co-chair with two other brilliant women, the Generation Next committee. And so I think Sharon continues to believe that in spaces where we are often discounted, like certain sections of Syracuse, there lies a lot of talent.
Yeah. Syracuse is a hidden treasure. I've always said, I grew up there, and I know the people who play basketball, play football, who are brilliant intellectually, the minds of entrepreneurs, artists, but it's also, believe it or not, it's also like a desert, right? In terms of the proximity it needs to get to major places. But keep going.
And so, because of exactly what you described, she wants her tenure in the mayor's office to really focus on setting up a future where maybe folks like Halston, who is taking his talents and your potential and all your creative works somewhere else, because it's you're not in the desert, right?
I took my talents to South Beach.
South Beach to Brooklyn.
That's LeBron.
How maybe could we get them to consider staying? Because they don't feel as if they don't have access to more opportunities or access to the culture or the vibes that help make living life there or anywhere so much more rich. How do we foster that? How do we create an engine to produce those spaces, the people, those moments? And so I'm helping to streamline ideas, and it's the money, but it's also like the systems and how they play.
That's right.
Right. And so when you come, I grew up in Newark, so not too far from Brooklyn. It's actually only like,
is that Brick City?
It's like 12 miles. I learned that this one. It's like
Newark is only 12.
It's only 12 miles. Now it took me 50 minutes, but it's only 12 miles.
Okay. Syracuse is actually 25 miles, by the way.
It's like 250 miles.
Syracuse?
From Brooklyn?
Syracuse is 2. Oh, you mean 12 miles to Newark? Okay.
Yes, it's only 12 miles to Newark.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Right. Newark is massive, actually. Yeah. Newark and Syracuse are almost the same size.
Oh, actually. Wow. Yeah.
But if you want a comparison, but my point was just going to be shout out to Jersey, always. Okay, Brick City, all that. Hooterville.
That's right.
Anyway, it is in these spaces like Jersey, the Brooklyns, where oftentimes our communities get looked at as a deficit. And how do we turn that around? Because we know where we are concentrated and in number, there is music, there is culture, there's innovation, there's a sense of community that you can't really build in isolation.
That's right.
And so but that community also needs access to opportunity, right? So like, it's dope to be here in Soulworks. I'm like, man, I wish we had a Soulworks in Syracuse.
Right.
I could go back and build a Soulworks, but how do I access business grants or the space to host it? And those types of systematic things, I think, create a barrier for producing what we really think is important, right? And in the spirit of your podcast, right, like that mental, emotional wealth.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. And so that's also a mindset shift that has to happen at the same time, right? People have to feel like they have a purpose. People have to feel as if, they're in a space that cares about them, not only financially, but emotionally, spiritually, right? Investing within businesses, the culture, people, for that sense. So family engagement. So it's a lot that has to be done within Syracuse. And I know you, as well as Miss Owens and others, can make it happen.
You gonna come back and help us make it happen?
I embody. Yeah,
you coming back to help us make it happen, Austin? You stuttering?
I'll do as much as I can. I will show up and be there and make it happen and get it done. If I'm needed.
You are needed. You are needed. That. And the one thing somebody said to me, because we got to be everywhere. We got to be everywhere, and it's about building that bridge, right? So you may not come back to live day to day yet,
right?
But how can we maintain that bridge? How can we bring opportunities like the Mental Wealth Podcast, Syracuse, have a Syracuse, Brooklyn? Like, we got to take it out of isolation, right? And access. I'm thinking, like, how can I bring a cohort of folks from Syracuse down to do?
I would love it.
Do like a tour and meet the business spaces and how they operate and have that conversation, right? We got to be innovative, especially right now.
Yeah. I would love it.
Especially right now.
I would love that. So you grew up in Newark. How did you end up in Syracuse?
How did I start out in Syracuse? Because I don't think I ended up. Well, I'm just getting started. I'm just getting hot.
Somebody is like, clock that tea right now.
Look, I'm just getting hot.
Somebody 2 fingers just came together. So how did you start it in Syracuse?
I was running away from Indiana.
Okay.
And literally, I was writing about.
I'm an indie animal. Sorry, my bad.
Indiana's playing today, by the way.
If y'all know that, that's go ahead.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's funny.
Okay, but I was doing grad school at Indiana University. Go Hoosiers today at 7:00. Okay. But that's not home. That wasn't the Midwest. Indiana is a special place. And I come from a Black city that embodies, Black excellence, performance, the arts, the culture, like everything that goes along with celebrating the notion of being Black and the problematic sides, no doubt. But it was very hard for me to write about the vibrancy of that space from somewhere on the polar opposite. Right. And I spent 10 years in Indianapolis and I was really ready to go. And so I had a friend at the time. I had come to Brooklyn for actually a community board meeting. That Yvette Clark was hosting. And I attended that meeting and it was like, that's where theory and the practice and what I was writing about in the libraries about how beautiful our communities are, all of the potential that lies within them, but also the systematic barriers that keep them from moving forward. They were talking about in that meeting, but in the sense of talking about it through neighborhood issues or access to business loans. And they were like putting it like on the ground, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it was synthesizing it.
Yeah, right. It wasn't just sitting like thinking about it. It was like, no, we need this needle to be moved, right? And so I was like, I want to write about my people where my people are. I need to go back to the bodegas and be in the community.
Right.
And so I was also working on a business venture at the time. My partner for that was in Syracuse, and she was like, why don't you come to Syracuse? It's affordable. You could probably get a part-time job somewhere and keep writing.
Facts.
And facts. That was true. That's how I got to Southwest. That's the job I found. Or the job that found me.
Shout out to Valerie Hill also.
Listen.
Love Miss Val.
And it was in that space, I call it was like Lean On Me. I may be dating myself. I don't know if people know Lean On Me. Right. And Joe Clark.
When you're not strong, I'll be
Bill Weathers, R.I.P. right? But Sharon Owens had come to that space and turned it around in the spirit of Eastside High, Lean on Me, Joe Clark, all that. And so I got to be there at a time where there was people coming in to revitalize that community. And again, it was like the board, the community board meeting that I went to in Brooklyn, right? Like how you running the program for young men, right? Me talking about health and sexual health and practices and trying to help people better understand what was happening with their bodies. And I was able to put these ideas about race and culture and access and opportunity on the ground with the people. And that's, I ran out of Indiana trying to get home, and I found myself in Syracuse.
But you being so humble at the same time,
because am I?
Aren't you a part of the Great Eight? Let's explain what the Great Eight is.
Oh my gosh!
All right, let's explain that. Can you explain the Great Eight to us? So first and foremost, we're happy you came to Syracuse. You're doing your thing. Yep. Shout out to the 315. We love that.
Right. And now I'm in Brooklyn.
And now you're in Brooklyn.
718.
718. It is. It's the 718.
I'm excited to be here.
So we it's the New York connection. Period. New York, upstate New York, the Jersey connection. We all in this together.
It's a trifecta. It's a
trifecta for real. What's up with the Great Eight? Explain the Great Eight to us.
Oh,
because I'm always like part of the Great Eight, and you're a soror.
So I'm a member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. Okay. Ooh,
two fingers just came together.
So. Ooh, okay. And shout out to my sorors. But the Great Eight. So when I say I was running away from Indiana, Indiana is such an interesting space. What I tend to contextualize it with was Indiana never really had an uprising in regards to civil rights.
Okay.
Right. Indiana is the home of the KKK. That is where it was formalized. Most people think Alabama, Mississippi. No, it was Indiana. About 15 miles from the Bloomington, the Indiana University main campus. It's a really interesting racialized space, right? And that was felt from the time that I got on the ground. And, I showed up with my big natural hair and colors and heels.
I just want to say I felt that in Arkansas as well. I went to Arkansas one year. Arkansas is not what everyone thinks. It was actually dope, but you can feel that energy within the air. It's just.
And I didn't know. Yeah. I was under the presumption that many people that Indiana, that's not the South.
Yeah.
Right, in the way that we think about the South. So I was really confused.
Yeah.
But I was there. Anyway, through that, I navigated my master's degree, ended up staying, doing my PhD. And it was really a tough space in some regards to talk about race and racialized experiences. We came, myself and 7 other women that became a part of the Great Eight, we came together because we were so isolated in our coursework.
Wow.
And so we made an intentional decision to be we're not going to do this separate, right? We're going to come together. Who got kids? Let's carpool. Let's take the same classes. Let's figure out ways to support each other. If our faculty in graduate school, when you get to the doctorate level, it's about how you can produce knowledge. Can you present a paper to the people? Can you take what exists in research and find gaps in it, right? And then present those things to other experts and other bodies to inform how practices are shaped, right? And so we weren't getting opportunities to do that.
Okay.
Because maybe the professors didn't agree with what we were writing with, right? Nothing to do with the rigor of the ideas, but why do you always got to talk about race or race and gender?
That's what they were saying to you,
to some degree.
So it was kind of stay in your place, know what's happening within this space, and don't talk about it. Don't rock the boat. Don't change the system.
Why y'all trying to change the system?
Why are you trying to change the system?
Why y'all trying to shake it up?
Yeah.
Right? And we found faculty members that did support us, but that may be 1 or 2, right? Out of a whole community of scholars that you got to navigate. And so we were like one Saturday, almost like us getting up here. We were like, my grandmother used to have these women's meetings. We was like, why don't we have a women's meeting?
Right.
Everybody bring a dish, come over so-and-so's house. And we came together. We watched Whitney Houston's funeral together. We babysat each other's kids. We carpooled to class. And then instead of waiting to be called on to present papers, we like, you know what? Let's put a panel together ourselves, right, of our work and present it. And started writing together, presenting together, sharpening each other's skills, right?
Like
she
that.
writes really well. She edits really well. I'm always the idea concept person. And they be like, okay, Johnny, you're all over the place.
You built a community amongst each other. In a sense, it's like survival.
We had to survive.
You had to survive.
We had to survive. And the thing that I will say about the grade 8, we looked up. We didn't all start together. We weren't all on the same program plan. Some people started 2 years before. I started 3 years after. It wasn't like high school where we all came together and it was expected. But we believe that it was out of being in community with one another and setting each other up and supporting one another that 8 of us ended at the same spot at the same time.
And that's look at God. That's
divine
intervention. It almost feels like, right?
That was like divine intervention. And we said because we didn't even know it. So once we felt, oh, you walking for graduation? Yeah, we all doing this at the same time. We said, wow, that doesn't happen where 8 Black women who were also 8 Black women that wanted to push back against systems, 8 Black women that spoke about race in schooling and education, 8 Black women that were from urban communities across the country were coming together to graduate at this institution all at the same time. That didn't happen at that institution. It doesn't happen at many. And so we said, oh, why don't y'all just like write a little story, put it in the office newsletter or whatever. And they wrote back and said, we don't really see a story here. That's the kind of talk about mental wellness.
What?
That's the kind of stuff we were just going up against. I wasn't surprised, but a friend of mine took to social media about it, and it was our communities, the communities that we often wrote about, that we spoke about, that shared that posting over 10,000 times.
Wait, they said there's no story to talk about?
They said, they officially said there was no story to talk about. So we're not a grade 8 because Indiana University deemed us grade 8.
You're grade 8 because you all said.
We are grade 8. We didn't even give ourselves a name. Our communities
named you the grade 8.
Started calling us the grade 8.
What community is this?
The Bronx, Troy, New York, New Orleans, Atlanta.
Wow, this is what I'm talking about.
Indianapolis.
That's what I'm talking about.
Right.
Power to the people.
And my aunt called me like, hey, the women in the barbershop or the beauty salon are talking about y'all's posts.
That's right.
Like, it was the community that I'm getting chills because, you know,
the spirit's up in here.
Right.
The grade 8 spirit is in here.
It's not even the grade 8 spirit. It's the spirit of the people.
The spirit of the people.
And we sometimes, it was really hard. You know, like people are like, oh, the grade 8, that are like, listen, we cried. I lost my hair. Like, people lost relationships. You know, stress and impact on the body.
People don't really, stress is the number one reason for heart attacks, by the way. That's a moment. But people don't really understand how stressful school can be, right? Like, I think people talk about it and it was like, oh, you went to school, you got your degree, okay, congratulations. People don't understand how you could be up all night rewriting papers, right? You could be up all night writing papers. You could be up all night stressing because you just scared to. I mean, you did your dissertation and all of those things, right? Like, I remember people was like just having nervous breakdowns to do their dissertation, like. And, you know, people that I've seen go on and do amazing things after that, but just to get to that moment, that point, especially at PWIs, you know, like that is
predominantly white.
Yeah, that is a hard feat because you're also, like you said, going through discrimination, going through all of those moments of like people locking you into systems, institutional racism, systemic racism, right? Trauma, just drama, just everything. And then you got to live. And then you need moments of like, you want to be loved and hugged, and then you want to find your circle, your people. That's a lot.
It's when I'm sitting here speechless now. Not that you don't put, because it's so true.
Yeah.
And I don't think that part. So when yes to all of that, and we experienced all of that, each of us could probably tell our own stories about how the stress and the isolation and the depression and the desire, because you get there because you've been deemed the leader or the smart person, or your family leaned into providing you with more opportunities because they felt like you could handle.
You're the one.
You're the one, and then you get in these spaces and they are like hounding on you, right?
I mean, like they're not looking at you as the one.
Yeah,
it's just
right.
Another
They're
face.
like, how did you get here? Why are you here?
In fact, as we talk about, Juhanna, if this is too real for you, you might just be you are looked at as just another nigga. Right?
You are.
You think how did you
get up in here?
Right. You think you're gonna do something great? You think, oh, you got your degree, or you trying to get? Okay, cool, whatever.
No.
Go back and do whatever. Cool. It's nothing.
Right. And you realize, at least for me, my parents, they worked. They had maybe a business on various scales, right? But they weren't medical doctors.
Facts.
I didn't have like a trust fund helping me to pay tuition.
Facts.
Like we get in there, and many of us like we got to make this work because while my friends are like girls trips to Jamaica, the brunches, living life, I'm in the library. Yeah. Like when I said I came out the library to the community, like literally came out of the library, and you feel like I'm missing out on life for this.
Yeah,
there's sacrifices we had to make.
Yeah.
Very different from others, but it's still a gut-wrenching, heart-wrenching feeling. Yeah. And most of the time you're in there alone. Yeah. And so the fact that we have forged the relationships with each other, made it to and through, and then the communities that we worked so hard being like, these communities are valuable, they have potential, it was like divine intervention that they were the ones that stood up.
Yeah. When all else is said and done and you can't get into these spaces, right? These high prominent 6-figure jobs, or these spaces where you can't change the system and you can't navigate it without having some type of access to those spaces, because no one is allowing people like that look like me and you to get into those spaces. That's why it's important for you to head out to the streets and have action, right? There's people in the neighborhood that see you, like when protests come, right? There's people that see you, that know what you're doing, that see your hard work, and people speak up, people talk, they called you the Great Eight, right? From different communities, right? When no one else, these folks were not acknowledging you. Right. They were not, they could care less about your brilliance and your excellence, even though we know who you are, because sometimes the streets is where they see you first, or your home is where they see you first. They're not seeing you.
Yeah. And that's the sort of like when people are, the Great Eight, I'm like, listen, we didn't call ourselves the Great Eight. It wasn't IU. It was our people that did it. And that for me is the greatest reward. So to be able to be in that space and then talk about, how I left there, came to Syracuse Community Center, because that's where the Great Eight popped off. It wasn't like I was at IU and all that happened. I came back to the community, working in it, figuring out how to serve, figuring out how to leverage my knowledge to put food on people's tables.
Facts.
That's where I found out about the Great Eight.
Yeah.
So it's a very humbling, divine, almost ancestral moment.
Man, and you made me think about a guy, I forgot his name. He used to work at the Southwest. He might still work there. He might be retired by now. He used to work in the computers section.
Oh, Richard.
Every time he see me, he'd be like, Dr. H, right? And like, I'm serious. And like, he called me something that I never visioned for myself. And he continued to call me that every time he seen me, right? And it was a gentleman within my community on the south side of Syracuse. His name was Big Knife, right? I know that's hood, but his name was Big Knife. Big Knife rode a bike up and down the street. But when Big Knife always saw me, even as a kid, he'd be like, Hall Scholar. So even to this day, when I felt like or at moments when I felt like slipping away, or I felt like I wanted to get involved in certain things that probably wasn't for me, but just being immature, trying to find my way, I never forget that gentleman called me Hall Scholar. Now, I mean, there's other people who embraced me and showed me love. But he called me Hall Scholar.